Come to my channel. We're back again, and today we're going to be discussing JavaScript. Podio allows you to um, add JavaScript code to the to the profile pages for the clients, and these JavaScript codes can be very useful. Like it can help you create or display data in a more efficient way. And if you really know what you're doing in JavaScript, you can even like display some stuff that um, the ordinary person wouldn't be able to have access to. So I'm going to run through some JavaScript codes for use with Podio. And as you can see, I have ChatGPT on. And these are some of like the questions that I asked ChatGPT. Like if you're a programmer nowadays, like you need ChatGPT. You can't escape it. I don't want to know how good you are. You're gonna use ChatGPT at some point. Me, ChatGPT is my friend. I'm not shy. I'm not gonna feel sad to say that because I'm trying to like get things done as fast as possible. I don't want to, start looking at Google and trying to like figure stuff out when ChatGPT can give me the answer straight away. So we're gonna start with the simplest one. Out of the box, uh, Podio lets you call elements on the page. Like the you have access to most of the elements you have on the page, like the fields. You can call any of this just by selecting, typing in the add button, and then you can select on any one of them, and you see, you can, and it's going to display whatever you have in them created on. Yeah, it's going to display all that. And yeah, that's like the basic function. You can call cell data just by using the add button, and then from there you can manipulate this data. um, this one says it's not a valid number because I'm calling a string. I'm trying to multiply it by 2. So whenever you um, call something that is not compatible, you're going to get errors. So right now I don't have a number on screen, on in one of the information, but I could try calling the item ID and then see if I can multiply that by 2. I think this might work. Okay, yeah, that works. Yeah, so you can manipulate the data, and another thing you can do is you can also display the data you want. So this is a sample where I display the data. I call the name, and I can call any other, thing there, maybe the job title, the client address, the phone number. Let me call the phone number. And yeah, because the phone number is empty, that's why this is. Oh no. So when you're dealing with phone numbers, because the phone numbers are arrays, you'd have to like put in a different code to call the phone number. So let's not do that right now. I'm gonna treat that later in the video. Let's call the name again, just like I did in the sample. So the thing is, whenever you add them together, there's not gonna be like a space between them. So you want to add this to create a space between between the words, and you can add whatever you want in here. You can add, curly braces. You could put whatever you want in there, you know, and you could put a space there to also and you can add as much stuff as you want into it. So for text, there is like a list of stuff you can do with text. So this is the Podio article link that shows you the stuff you can do with text. I have it opened already, text formatting, and then so if you want the text to be an header, you have all these options in there. This image, we're gonna treat that in a little while and explain something. So you want horizontal rule. Yeah, you want ordered list on ordered list. You could do all this with text if you want. And everything is gonna be in here. So when it displays it, whatever formatting that you put in there is gonna show up in the actual profile for the clients. And that's that. And then this. So if you have smartphone connected, you can use this code to show the message history for that particular client, for that particular phone number or that particular client. This is the code that smartphone provided. So I have a modified version of this code. I'm going to display that later also. And all this, the only thing you're going to need to change in this code is these variables up here. Make sure that they correspond to your own version of it corresponds to how you built your own workspace. You want to make sure it corresponds to that. I don't use this, so like this, for example, is connected with the smartphone app. The communications app for smartphone that gives you all the correspondences you had with the person, like the outgoing calls, incoming text. That smartphone app is going to have all that. So the type is just referring to either if it's like an incoming call or an outgoing call or incoming text. And then this is the smartphone number that you use to send a message. And then this is the text message. The message you're sending to the person, or the message the person is sending to you. And then they put with nodes to treat situations where the message is empty, rather than this calculation field erroring out. Is just going to show like a blank stuff or just saying undefined. Yeah, so that's like a short summary for this. I don't use this one, so I worked with ChatGPT to like create like a more advanced version of this. So yeah, so this is just gonna like display a table and show the messages that you have with the person, the incoming, the outgoing. And this is see the message stuff is also the image stuff is also popping up again. I'm gonna explain this later. And then so you can see like the tags incoming, outgoing also. And then if it's empty, you have this is going to show no SMS history, and it's going to be red. So and then it's going to truncate. This is like simple stuff. I know it might look complicated if you don't like do programming and stuff, but it's not really for someone who doesn't do programming. All you need to concern yourself with is filling these variables up here. All this other stuff gets filled in automatically. You don't need to do anything with this. Just make sure that these variables up here, that they are filled in with the ones from your workspace, because your workspace might be labeled differently, so you want to make sure it tallies with yours. I would be able to explain mine more because I understand my own version of it more. So yeah, so if you want to pull Google Maps, if you don't want to use Podio's version of Google Maps, you can use this one. And you want to make sure this part of this code is filled in. So this is the property address. You want to make sure this part is like filled in properly. Yeah, you want to make sure this is filled in. And then yeah, you can see this is where the variable was called, and it's getting called here too. You want to make sure that this part, so let me just give an example. You'd have like this person client address. So I'm putting in the client address and call the client address again. You see? Now, if this is gonna be displayed, it's gonna display the Google Street View of this particular address, of this particular person's address. So you want to make sure the address is well put in. And I know Podio glitches out a lot, and there's a problem with the address. Sometimes the address doesn't get displayed properly. Like you'd have the city showing before the streets. Usually what I do for that is I do something in the back end where I click on whenever the address field is like updated in the front end, the back end automatically pulls out those data and then sends the information back to the front end for it to like display correctly. But it's gonna be displayed in another field because the actual address field is like messed up. The only way for it to display correctly is if if you're not using a single line address. Yeah. So for phone numbers, if you want to extract the seller phone numbers and you want it to show it in a string format, then you'd have to use this code. This code under this is the code that pulls out the phone numbers. So if you have like multiple phone numbers, then you're gonna see something like this as the result. You'd have let's say 210 123 1234. Then you have another 1213 123 1234. Let's say this is so. Depending on how many phone numbers you have, you're gonna have this like popping up with separated by commas. They're all going to be separated by commas, but the main thing is it's going to produce a string of your phone numbers. Of the phone numbers for that particular person. So the exciting thing about this is, in case you want to do something with particular phone numbers, then you would have this particular calculation, bring out the string, and then you'd have to call this particular result in another calculation and then pull out the phone numbers. That's one way to do it. That's the way I use it anyway. So if you're doing this in the back end, if you're pulling phone numbers in the back end, it's a lot easier to do. it's a lot easier to do because there's like PHP codes that you could use to like pull them out easily. But if you're using JavaScript, this is the way. If you want to do it on the front end, this is it. So it's going to pull it out. It's the result is going to display something like this, and I mean it's going to look like this. If you have, let's say you have two phone numbers, this preview place is going to show something like this with the two phone numbers separated by a comma. And then later on I'll show you something we can do with that. Okay, and another thing to note is this doesn't store the phone numbers in the a variable. If you want to store it, you have to create another variable to store it, and then you can call it and say b. So it's the same thing for the emails also. There's no, oh, there's an email on here, so I think we should, yeah, so we have a test email, so it's the same process for that too. And then also you can call so you can call Zillow, I mean you can call addresses for Zillow. This is just to provide you with the link. The backend is the one that is actually going to call the Zillow link and then populates the client's page with the information. But this is like the calculation that you're going to use to produce the address for that person, and I'm going to show you why. Let's go to Zillow. I think Zillow changed the address link, so that particular one might not work. But let's go to Zillow and then let's look for a particular place. Let's say 25235 West. Let's just look for a random place. And if you notice, you could see this link. This link here is what we're trying to produce with this link here. So you want to make sure that what's your, the final result of this. We want to make sure the final result of this is displaying this link here. You want to make sure that's what's happening. Let's see if we can get that without so you want to make sure that the final results of this, it's saying is null because this address is actually empty. So so this is the code for, but you have to make sure that the address is like correct. Or else this is just gonna give you like wrong code in the backend, and then you'd be having like a bad request when you send when you try to do a HTTP request call. So this is for those who want to like pull Zillow information. You want to pull rents, you want to pull comparable properties. So this is the code for comparables. If you want to like get like list of comparables, you can pull out the rents, you can pull out the comparable properties around. You can do like, so once you get the rent, you can get like a ceiling for the highest the property could go for, and then the lowest the property could go for. You could use like a percentage. You can use like a percentage for that. I think it's between either 0.3 and 0.7. It depends on what you what you want for your business. So now this is, let's just move to the next one. If you have questions, you can ask me. I'll try my best I'll try my best to explain in the comments. I'll probably do like other videos like address what you want. And also I am going to, after we complete this series, I am going to do a mini project where I build apps and work on the back end from scratch. And I would like for you guys to suggest something for us to like base the project on. Yeah, that would really help me choose the one that would really help you guys, Um Also, please don't suggest something that is like too complex. You don't want us to spend a long time trying to like build apps and stuff. So yeah, so this is my version of the smartphone history, and it's more simplified. If you look, it's longer, but it's like more simplified in my opinion. I don't know if uh it's different for other people. So the type, which I said was like the incoming or the outgoing text, and then the created date. So the thing about the created date is the communications app, the smartphone communications app that gets created when you integrate smartphone. It has an issue with the created date. I don't know. It's one of the glitches of Podio. Podio has glitches. So whenever you try to pull the created date, it's usually blank. I don't know why. So what I did was I put a flow in the backend where whenever a new communications item is created, it manually automatically updates the created date. So I created a new field in the communications item that says created date, and then that field is populated with the current time that item was created, and that way I'm able to have like the date the message came in. So then this text is like the text message, and then I added with nulls in case the text message is empty, so you don't break. Because if the text message is empty, it's just gonna break the old chat history. The old chat history is not gonna work. So you put with nulls to treat situations where the person sent like an empty message. And then this contact number extract is, so I did another calculations in the communications app that pulls out the contact phone number, because you can, if you directly call the contact number from here, it's doesn't always work. So the contact number, what the contact number extract does is pulls out the contract number, and then the contact number, and then formats it in a way. It takes out the +1 or the extension, takes out, and then just gives you the raw number. So that's something. And then the smartphone number 2, the number you use to text the person or the number you use to call the person, that's what this is. So once you have all of this, then this code automatically works. It automatically works. So I'm going to try to break down the code. So this part I added myself. This is the part to treat the dates that I created. So it separates the date into like day, month, year, and then also separates it into like the time. So then this function passes the date. Then this function is the one that actually creates like an array that stores all this information, because each chat history that comes in, you have to treat everything. You have to treat everything. That's why we're using all of text message, all of created date, because everything gets poured into this like array here, and then from here it displays it like a chart, like like an history, according to all the ones that it got from the communications app. I don't know if I'm explaining it properly, but I'm trying to give you an idea of how this works. I'm probably not the best person. I'm probably not the best person to explain it, but yeah. So this here, you can change this to you can change it to however number, whichever number you want. So what that does is it decides how many of the chat history you want to show on the screen. If you put 4, it's only going to show 4 for for communications we have with the person. If you put 8, it's going to show 8. If you put 20, it's going to show 20. That's if it's up to 20. Once it gets over 20 or over 8, it automatically breaks it into and says, like it gives you an indication that there is more messages, and then this is like a code. This is the code that adjusts the incoming text and the outgoing text according to, they adjust the color according to if it's incoming or outgoing text. I know this is a very like short code. The smartphone version was like long lines of code just to do this. So yeah, I felt like this was like a better version of that. And then this is the code that displays the table. So as you can see, it displays an image before it puts in the time. It displays another image, along with the direction, which is like incoming or outgoing, and then you have another image that has like the smartphone phone number. This one has like this smart 2 was the smartphone number, and smart was like the contact number. So the first one is going to show the contact number, the second one is going to show the contact the smartphone number, and then the next one is going to be the text message here. So, and then if the table is empty, then it shows no SMS history using the button factory embedded code. I'm going to explain that too later. So you can see I commented out that because I didn't want it to show. So I commented that part of the code. I didn't want to take it out because I might need it to show later in the future. So this is how you add the comments. So once I commented it out, it doesn't show. The code reader just the interpreter, the thing that like checks the code just sees this as like a comment, so it just like skips over it. And then you have this, so you have like the truncate also. Okay, yeah, that's my version of the smartphone history code. So now we can go. So Podio has these like ways of storing data. Some of the data, not everything. You have the phone number. You can't use this to pull out the phone numbers, but you can use this to pull out the company address. If you have like a relationship field that has like that you can use to like connect companies to a particular seller. Maybe the seller is the owner of that company, then you can add company. You add 1 company, 2 companies, 3 companies. So you're gonna have another app that has like a list of companies, and then when I say relation, it's a connection between one app and another app, items in one app and items in another app. So this item in one app can have connection to multiple items in another app, And this is an example. So this particular client probably has like multiple businesses, and probably has like maybe like 5 businesses, and they are all connected to him as a relation. So you can call them using this. You could say, and one other thing in programming is when you're dealing with arrays, 0 is like the first slot. So you don't want to put 1 here. If you put 1 here, that means you're referring to the second slot. So you want to put 0. Yeah. And then, yeah, I said I was going to deal with this. So remember when I talked about when the phone numbers, when you try to like extract the phone numbers, and you have say you have like something like this displaying as the phone numbers for the clients. So now this is the field that actually stores the phone numbers as a string. So if we go back up to like the first set, we did one where we did, when we did this, I remember I told you that this was going to show up as a string of numbers divided by commas. So now I can call this I can call this as this, and then store it in a variable. Now this p is going to be contained in this p. And now if I want to pull out just this, I can slice this text by using this p.slice from 0 to 10. Now I'm going to count 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, from 0 to 8. So this is going to be 8. From 0 to 8 is going to be this. So how many is this? That's total of 9. So that's 0 to 8. What's happening now is, although it can't show now because I don't have like the XDPR, I don't have it stored. So but this is what is going to show if you process this, which is like the example that I gave up there. This is what is stored in here, and then it gets stored in here, and then by the time you slice it, this is what it's going to show. If you want to slice this other one, then you have to count. So this was 8, the comma is going to be 9, and then this next one is going to be 10, meaning you're going to be slicing from 10 all the way to, this is 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. You're going to be slicing all the way to 19. You're going to be slicing all the way to 19. So from 10 to 19, I'm not sure, it might be 20, but by the time you run this code and you see the number that comes out, then you can adjust the number to capture all the phone numbers for that particular slot. So I'm not saying this is the exact numbers to use. Adjust the numbers according to, just make sure the numbers capture all the phone numbers that you want to bring out from the string. And you can also use this for something else. Maybe you got like a string answer, and then you want to pull out something from inside the string. You can use slice. And if you want to go more advanced, then you'd have to use the backend. Like maybe the string as maybe like the reply as elements of stuff that you need in there, but then the numbers, I mean the letters are not in the same place every single time that the answer comes. You want to make sure you're using the back end to do that. You can't use the front end to do that because the front end is limited. So with my experience, all these codes that I'm giving you are like the ones that Podio doesn't have problems with. So it doesn't have problem with slice. It also doesn't have problem with split. Also, it doesn't have problem with split. But the problem with but the issue with split is um a lot of times it's just gonna give you like the first character of the thing you're trying to split. In JavaScript, usually when you split, it splits it by a comma. It splits it into two. So if you split like this, it's gonna split by the first character. Every other thing after that, it dumps it. It dumps it like this, for example. If you're gonna split this and you say I want to split by comma, by the time you split this, it's going to bring this as the first number, but this other part is gone. What Podio is going to tell you, it's undefined. If you try to do like any other like extra stuff, sorry, it's not gonna work. So the best way I found was to just use the slice. Yeah, slice was what worked. I don't know, maybe one of you might be like super gurus and geniuses, and then you could figure out one other way to like make split work. But yeah, this is what works for me. So yeah, I'm not saying it's the absolute way that works, because even me, I I discovered all this with like trial and error. So yeah, and then we have images. So you could put a link to any image file here, and it's gonna load it. It's gonna load the file. So this particular link is we use it for dividers. Like if you want to divide sections of the client's profile, you want to label a section and say maybe property details, or you want to label this particular letters and say something like contact details. That's what this is for. If I should copy this and try to load it, it's going to try to download the file. Yeah, it's going to try to download the file. For you to create it, you have to create this link, to like create this device. You can put any link in there as long as it's a picture, and it's gonna display it. You can put any link in there. For those who are like graphics designers and stuff, you can make like a custom image and then put it there. And just be aware that anything you put in here as a calculation, and then you put in an image, it's gonna display on all the clients. Everything that I put in here, note that you are putting this for all the clients. The only way for you to put something for this particular client, you can put it in the profile page, not on the page where you modify how it should look. Anything you put in here shows up on all the clients page. And if you notice, whenever you want to put in a code in here, you must reference you must reference one of the fields in the profile page. You must reference one. That's one of the rules. You can't just put any random code in here. It's not going to load until you reference something. But the way around that is whatever you put, whenever you don't want to reference something, you just want to put in something like this, maybe like a code to display like a divider. You could just reference any random thing at the top. You could just reference any random thing at the top and you'll be fine. It's not going to affect the code. But if you should put this at the end, then it's going to affect the code. Then it's going to affect the code. See, James Doe. Yeah, so now you can just put it back up and then you'll be fine. Okay, so yeah, that's that. I said I was also going to show you. Okay, so you to get this the button factory image, you can go to this link, clickminded.com/button generator, and then you can make yours. So this is what it looks like. You can put in the text. Say contact details. You can put contact details. Yeah. And you can change the font, you can make it bold, you can make it italic, you can change the color of the text, you can add a text shadow, you can do whatever you want with it. And whenever you're done, there's like, you have all these options. Whenever you're done, all you just need to do is copy the embed code, which is this. Just copy this, then you go to the Podio page and you just replace the link. And then you're good. And just remember, you can put any image link in there, so you don't necessarily have to use this the button factory. You can find something for yourself. All right. Yeah, so this ends our JavaScript lesson for today. Next I'm going to be going into the backend, and then we're going to explain the backend tools. I don't know if I'm going to be able to cover that in like I'm probably going to have to break the backend videos. I mean, the explaining of the tools, I'm probably going to break it into like sections. So yeah, I'm excited for that. All right, I'll see you in the next video. Like and subscribe if you like my if you like the lessons, and that way I know I'm doing a good job. All right, thank you.